What's up, guys? It's that guy with the pencil, and let's get into it. So, Frozen 2 was a film. It was a film, and that's the review. Yeah, it was a film made by Disney. Nice. Okay. Let me actually get into discussing Frozen 2 and the many problems I have with it. So if I had to say my main problem with it, it's most definitely the you know what? No, let me not problems. Let me say problems. Let me say problems. What I like about this film, despite how every Disney movie for the past over a decade now, I think it's nearing like a decade and a half. The past decade and a half has looked the same. All their 3D movies look the same. It's still beautifully animated. Disney's animation quality is only getting better. It's only shooting up. The colors are brilliant. This movie blows the visuals of the first movie of the water, which is a very impressive feat because Frozen 1, as much as I'm not a fan of the film, I can respect it as a feat of animation. It is both films are beautifully composed and honestly look great. And honestly, sometimes the water in this sequel looks like photorealistic, and it blows my mind that animation has come this far. So that's good. The animation's good. Um, I do like how Elsa has developed some form of character. I'm not exactly sure what kind of character. She seems rather shaky on what she is, but she's still a character, so I'll give her that. That's better than the original, where she was kind of just a plot device. But even here, she's also a plot device. Um, I like Anna in this movie. I really do. I can't really explain why, because I also really don't like Anna in this movie. But yeah, um, Sven continues to be the best thing that ever came out of the franchise, and I'm glad he has friends now, so that's cool. Um, I still don't like Olaf, like at all. Like he occasionally makes me laugh, but then I get angry after the fact. So I'll give him credit for making me laugh. This movie's way funnier than the first one. Like I actually found myself outright laughing a lot more at this one. So I'll give this movie that. I was laughing. Of course, this is because I watched this with my friends too, and me and my one friend just were just memeing throughout this entire movie, so we weren't even really taking it that seriously. And the songs in this are fantastic. I know a lot of people are saying the songs aren't as good as the original, and I have to say you're entitled to your opinion because I completely disagree. I think "Let It Go," which is the best song out of the original, pales in comparison to songs like "Into the Unknown." Um, yeah, show yourselves kind of meh. But like a lot of these songs in context also work much better with the animation of the film. That's something I have to admit I had a problem with Frozen One with. Like the animation and the songs typically have this sort of disconnect that I can't really explain. But Frozen Two does a better job of like intertwining it. Like the animation will amplify the song, where in some cases with the original, the animation would actually worsen the song. So there's that. Um, if I have to say, yeah, I pretty much implied this favorite song is "Into the Unknown," hands down. I feel like the movie was building up to that. It started off really awkwardly, but then it shifted, and then it was just great. I really enjoyed it. That was literally where the film peaked for like a long time. And we got song. Then we got to the Kristoff song, which I loved. I literally had an out of body experience with this song, but I have to admit, like listening to it separately after without the visuals, like that song just plummets. It plummets completely, and the shock value just since it's all gone now, that song really just drops down the list. Wow, Into the Unknown alone is still just whew, fantastic. I may catch myself singing that. So that's scary. So yeah, so we have that good song. I feel like in general the songs in this movie were either on par or better than the original. Like I prefer Into the Unknown to Let It Go, even though I like piano more. I don't know. Like I feel like I should like Let It Go more, but Into the Unknown is just whew. Like I haven't gotten chills like that listening to a song in a while from a Disney movie at least. Yeah, Into the Unknown is good. The opening song is good. Like I have to admit, all the music is good, but a lot of it is extremely forgettable. Just like in the first film, where I literally I saw the film as of the time I'm recording this 2 days ago, and I already forgot most of the songs. And I know in like about a week's time, I'm going to forget that I even saw this film. So let me transition to what I don't like about this film. This film has zero idea what it wants to be, so it tries to be a lot of things while at the same time trying to be nothing at all. And that makes very little sense, and I know it does. So allow me to see if I can rationalize this. So the movie is about accepting people, but the movie is also about learning to accept who you are. But it's also about racism, and it's also about a retelling of Pocahontas, but better. It's also about love with Kristoff, and it's also about learning to unite. It's this movie is weird. Like honestly, the only new introduced character whose name I remember is Matthias. And the only reason I remember him is because they said his name so many times, and that is literally sticking in my head. And I know he's going to vanish out of my mind soon enough because all these new characters kind of just they don't need to be there at all. Like I don't remember reindeer guy's name. I don't remember reindeer girl's name. I don't remember tribe leader lady's name. I don't remember any of the side guards' names, even if they had names. I'm not sure if they gave the little fire lizard a name. Like I almost forgot the little fire lizard was the thing just now because I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like, what is this movie? Like this movie, and here's the thing: I still think this movie is better than the original, only because like I just don't like the original, and I didn't have a good time sitting through the original. While I did have a good time watching this just play on screen, kind of just lull me into a sense of flatlining, even though this film would occasionally jolt me awake with confusion. So let me get into that. This movie is super confusing. So apparently, Elsa is a spirit given human form because her mom was one of the forest people who saved her dad, who was one of the people from Arendelle, and apparently that makes her the fifth spirit as a gift from the forest that ended up getting her parents killed. And she's also somehow able to vary in terms of ice manipulation so drastically that at one point she cannot put out a simple fire set by one little creature, but at another point she froze the entire ocean. Yeah, she just froze the entire ocean at the end. I remember freaking out when I saw that. I was just like, she didn't freeze the ocean, did she? Yeah, she did. This movie is just this movie is just weird. Like like I haven't sat down and like had to question the internal logic of a Disney film so hard in forever, if ever. Like I'll give Disney one thing: when they lay out a plot, is usually simple. Like you can plot out a Disney movie and explain everything, except for like the two Frozen films. Like even Frozen one, I can still mostly explain. If someone asked me to explain Elsa in Frozen two, I could because I have zero idea I have zero idea about this world. So there's magic, but humans can't use it. But there are humans that are intertwined with magic. There's a magic forest that apparently has sentience. There are spirits, but the spirits are actually animals, except for when they're not. Because the fire spirit was an actual physical lizard, but the water spirit was something in the ocean, number one, and number two was a water horse that tried to kill Elsa, and then Elsa tried to kill it, and suddenly they're friends. Like I don't understand this movie. And as a person who writes plots and like my dream job and my what I do now is analyze characters and break down plots and do things like this. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I don't understand Frozen 2's plot. But I'm pretty sure that's not my fault. I'm pretty sure that's just a failure of the writing. Gee, I'm gonna shift the blame over to the writing. Um, Another thing that gets me, I don't like getting off from the countless questions that Elsa's just mere existence brings up in this entire film. I don't like how Kristoff and Anna's relationship is played. Like I was hoping the whole Kristoff struggling to marry Anna thing was just gonna be like a semi, not even a running joke. I was hoping it was gonna be a one gag thing, and then they like he'd at least propose, and she'd say yes, and then that'd just be like a thing throughout the entire film. But no, it isn't. It's just this running joke of, oh no, they constantly misunderstand each other, haha, quirky. But we already went through that in the first film. I don't really care, and it just gets annoying to a point where like they just write Kristoff out of the movie for a good chunk of it. Like after his song, he just vanished. He like drops off from the plot, and he just gone. And there's just this whole chunk of film without any other characters but Anna, and then Olaf even gets Thanos, and I didn't care, but I was actually happy that Olaf got Thanos. But this is literally just Anna, and no offense to Anna, but like she can't carry a film on her own. Neither can Elsa. Like they need other people to work off of. They are not interesting characters on their own. Like I would never ever want Elsa or Anna solo film ever. In the DCU, I do not want solo films for any of these characters because all of them are too boring or too basic, or in Elsa's case, too confusing to hold up their own film. That's where this film kind of fails. It kind of falls apart because as much as I enjoy the music, as much as I enjoy the visuals, as much as I enjoy what this movie can offer and what this movie tries to offer, it has no central logic. Like as a person who loves fiction and loves fantasy, I can suspend my disbelief. I can suspend my disbelief far. I can suspend my disbelief to Shakespeare lines and love it. But this movie takes my disbelief, asks me to suspend it, and then when it tells me to suspend it, it tells me to suspend it on the moon. And I can't do that because this movie doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So how this movie concludes is Elsa apparently takes over the people of the forest, even though she's never lived there and ever, and just learned about them this movie in I think like the same week or 2 days. And Anna becomes queen of Arendelle, and apparently the dam that their grandfather built blocked out the water, but Elsa managed to block the water. And get this, instead of drowning Arendelle, which is what the water would have done, or at least overflowed Arendelle a little bit, she blocks the water, and then the water level just stays the same despite it being a massive influx of water. This this movie does not make sense, hands down. Like I'm just I literally am going to stop myself because this movie doesn't make sense at all, and it's kind of sad because this movie is literally just gonna be in the foggiest bits of my mind. It's never gonna be up there with any of like the Disney classics or any just good Disney films. Like this isn't a Tangled. This isn't Tangled at all. This isn't a Lion King at all. This isn't Aladdin at all. This isn't a Beauty and the Beast at all. Like I'm gonna forget this film, and that's sad. It's the only thing I'm gonna remember it for is being extremely confused about Elsa, and that isn't good. So in conclusion, like when I first like reviewed this movie, when I first like put up a score of it, I put it up as like a 7.5. I'm gonna drop it down to a 6 here, and that just makes me realize how low the original Frozen score is. Because I don't like Olaf. This plot doesn't make sense. I only like some of the songs. The rest of them I've already forgotten, despite seeing the movie only 2 days ago. And this movie is overall a meh. It's very meh. I can't say that this movie taught me anything. This movie didn't really make me feel anything. It made me laugh when it probably wasn't supposed to make me laugh, but occasionally it did. So it did its job in some sense. However, I still think it is a very meh film, and I most likely won't be rewatching it. If anything, I'll just rewatch certain songs, like certain animation to coincide with the songs. I may watch that, but for everything else, nah, this definitely isn't a rewatch film. So if I had to say, yeah, like go see it if you really want to. It's a beautifully animated film. In my opinion, this I'm glad I didn't pay full price for this movie. I wouldn't recommend paying full price for this movie because it isn't an Avengers. It isn't a good piece of cinematic film that you would really want to drop all your money on. But it's still a good. It's a good waste of 2 hours. Like I enjoyed myself through it. It's just that it was like a flash. It was jingling keys in front of my face, and I enjoyed the jingling keys just like I did when I was a baby. I enjoyed it for when it lasted, but once they stopped, I kind of just forgot. And I remembered like the shiny piece of metal, the one shiny key that reflected a little bit of light. That's how I can describe Frozen 2. So is it a film? Yes. Go see it if you want to. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. I'm not watching it again. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.